What you're about to see, folks, is the Trumpster winning and winning and winning again. Yes, and how's he doing it with tariffs? The government of South Africa should take notice of this. No sanctions have been imposed, no tariffs have been imposed, no punitive measures have been imposed against South Africa. Yet at every turn, the government of South Africa and its politicians and its media keep insulting Donald Trump, keep lying about what the United States has done, and they're angry. And they're trying to take it out on America. Well, Donald Trump, homie, don't play that. Just ask Dougie Ford, the premier of Ontario. And oh, by the way, Volodymyr Zelensky, who thought he could manipulate Trump and Vance and manipulate the American press like he's done with Biden, he did with Macron, he did with Rishi Sunak, he's done with Keir Starmer, he did with Angela Merkel, and also Olaf Scholz. No, you're not going to manipulate Trump. You're either going to comply, you're going to get along, or you're not going to be playing. Well, let's see what happens here.
And President Trump is now saying he is enacting a 50% tariff on steel and aluminum from Canada, which will go into effect tomorrow, in response to your actions. What's your reaction?
We will not back down. We will be relentless. I apologize to the American people that President Trump decided to have an unprovoked attack on our country, on families.
Well, folks, here we see little Dougie Ford, the premier of Ontario, the most populous and wealthiest province of Canada, threatening the United States, acting as if he's the foreign minister for Canada, with tariffs 25% directed against New York, Michigan, and Minnesota. Well, how long did this last?
Well, just a little while ago, I had an opportunity to speak to Secretary Lutnick.
As with Colombia playing games, Trump on the golf course threatens them with tariffs, and an hour later they back down. Little Dougie Ford, playing in a pond much bigger than his size can handle, says he's going to put these tariffs on us. Well, let's see how that goes.
And Secretary Lutnick has sent out an olive branch to us to come down and immediately meet with him, meet with the whole trade administration, and discuss the future. Rather than waiting till April the 2nd, threats going back and forth, tit for tat, I've agreed to suspend temporarily, and we always have that tool in our toolkit, until we sit down over the next day or two. I'll be heading down to Washington along with Dominic LeBlanc, and we'll have a good discussion. You know, with any negotiation that we have, there's a point that both parties are heated and the temperature needs to come down.
So just 5 hours later, little Dougie Ford, the premier of Ontario, has backed down. Yes, Trump is causing chaos with his tariff wars. Nope, he's affecting foreign policy. Trump is transactional. Of course he is. Diplomacy is transactional, folks. Cyril Ramaphosa, ANC, Governor of National Unity, are you paying attention? Are you listening? Is the message getting through? You might want to consider that. Trump has been very generous. You're illegally in the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, and he hasn't pulled you out. Done you a favor, and all you do is insult him. Today, Cyril said he wants to work with Trump. But let's see what Trump had to say about Dougie Ford's backing down.
Already Canada, and I respect very much. As you know, there's a very strong man in Canada who said he was going to charge a surcharge or a tariff on electricity coming into our country. He has called and he said he's not going to do that. Okay, he's not going to do that. And it would have been a very bad thing if he did. And he's not going to do that, so I respect that. But we were just informed that he's not going to do that.
He's not going to do that. Well, folks, I don't know what you think of Donald Trump. You can love him, you can hate him, but you have to admit the guy is crazy like a fox. Unbelievable. So it doesn't just stop there. The hits just keep on coming for the Trumpster. You know, Canada's premier threatens 25% tariffs will destroy their auto industry. You've already done that. It's all moved to Ontario. But hey, I guess you want to finish off the rest in Michigan. Yeah, we'll destroy their auto industry by putting tariffs, but we love Americans. We're going to make them pay 25% more for electricity. Okay. Not anymore, Dougie. But he says we've done it temporarily. Bet you those tariffs never come back. But the hits just keep coming for the Trumpster, folks. Shortly after this, what else happens? Remember the Ukraine spat when the left lost their mind? How dare he treat him like that? The president of a country. Dude, Ukraine was the one that was rude. Zelensky coming not even dressed properly for a formal diplomatic occasion. It's also like John Fetterman showing up to an event. It was pathetic. And on top of that, he interrupts the president. He interferes with him. The president was the host. He was the guest. He also lied. He said he would sign the agreement. to get the U.S. involved in the mineral industry there so we have skin in the game, and agreed to a ceasefire in Kiev, with Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary. Walked out, didn't sign it. Shocked Bessent. He said, I'm going to sign it in Munich when J.D. Vance is there. He didn't sign it. So he came to America. Trump meets with him for 90 minutes. They hammered out the deal. They're ready to do it. Comes out, and then he yammers on for a good 39 minutes. And finally, J.D. Vance asks a question, and once again, Volodymyr Zelensky thinks he's dealing with the lightweights he deals with in Europe or with the Biden regime, and he can just say what he wants and use the cameras for sympathy. It didn't work. And Trump was attacked and pillared. Oh, Trump is evil. Trump is going to get peace in Ukraine, the way this is going. Now it's up to the Russians. Ukraine has agreed to ceasefire. Let's listen to what Trump has to say about that.
But very importantly, and I said it, Ukraine, ceasefire. Ukraine, ceasefire. Just agreed to a little while ago. Now we have to go to Russia, and hopefully President Putin will agree to that also, and we can get this show on the road. We can get this horrible war where 2,000-3,000 soldiers a week, every week, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 sometimes. I get the reports. And they're not American soldiers. They're Ukrainian and they're Russian. But people are being killed outside of that. People are being killed in the cities as things explode throughout the cities. And we want to get that war over with. So I think it's a very big, I think it's a big difference between the last visit you saw at the Oval Office and this. So that's a total ceasefire. Ukraine has agreed to it, and hopefully Russia will agree to it. We're going to meet with them later on today and tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be able to wipe out a deal. But I think the ceasefire is very important. If we can get Russia to do it, that'll be great. If we can't, we just keep going on, and people are going to get killed. Lots of people.
And my hands go up, and they stay there, and they stay there. Oh my goodness. What a fine time to be alive. Trump wins again and again and again. And they tried to murder him twice. They tried to assassinate him. They tried to bankrupt him. They brought bogus fake allegations and charges against him. They got bogus convictions by a corrupt jury. They got bogus convictions, unbelievable, and charges that aren't even crimes. It's just insane. But here he is. The Energizer Bunny. Trump wins. So Canada's Ontario Premier backs down from his ludicrous tariffs, and Trump will obviously back down from the 25 and 50% tariffs imposed on steel and aluminum back to the original tariffs until Canada complies with their other requests in the other areas. But yeah, Trump wins again, Trump wins again, Trump wins again. Crazy like a fox. So there you go, folks. As I said, Donald Trump wins. So is the government of South Africa paying attention to this? Stop bellyaching about non-existent sanctions and punitive actions and aggression against your country, none of which has happened. The situation you're in is of your own making. Yes, it's unfair that PEPFAR money was taken away, but you've had 22 years to fix it. You didn't do it. Do you think the U.S. is going to pay into perpetuity for your issues? Well, you need to fix it and stop misrepresenting what the United States has done, because Trump will happily apply sanctions and tariffs to South Africa if he needs to. You're just pissing in the wind. And you know what happens when you piss in the wind? You piss on yourself. And that's what the government of South Africa and the media have been doing. They've been pissing on themselves. Hopefully you're paying attention to this. No threats. Statements of facts. Figure it out. Pay attention. Read the room, which is something you've been doing very poorly. Cheers.